Hello, I am Odyssey and welcome to a new series. This is Pillars of Eternity. And if you don't know what this game is, it's a quite recent CRPG, kind of in the style of Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale, old classics like that. But yeah, I've been having a load of fun with this game. I have played through a bit of it. It's a very long game. If you have played CRPGs like this before, you know that they can go on for a long, long time. They're very story-driven and usually set in this enormous sprawling world. I know Pillars certainly is. So, yeah, basically what the series is about is I haven't been uploading to the Mob Cave channel for quite a while, actually, and I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. This game has a lot of, as I said, a lot of story in it. It's going to involve a lot of reading, and I picked it basically because I love the game, and I was thinking about recording it, but also because I just want to get into using my voice again. You know, I want to try out a game that involves a lot of talking, kind of like the Talos Principle, back when I was doing that for a short time. But yeah, hopefully this is going to last a little while. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is basically just going to be hopefully an ongoing series where you guys can just, you know, join me for the ride, because I still don't know too much about this game, and it's a fascinating world. So I hope you guys enjoy this series. So let's jump right into a new game then. Right, I think I'm actually going to be choosing the easy mode for this playthrough. And I'll explain why. I don't usually do this. I consider myself to be quite a hardcore gamer, so I usually pick rather hard, or at the very least I pick the normal mode for most games. This time I'm going to be picking easy because this game is actually tough. Even easy is quite tough at times. And I want this game to be more about the story and about the journey, and I don't want to keep dying in the middle of it, because that'll break the immersion, I think. So yeah, easy mode. And let's see what happens.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Okay. Yeah, there's some stellar voice acting in this game. It's not always there. A lot of the dialogue isn't actually voiceovered, but that's where I'll be coming in. I'll be reading everything out that isn't already read out. All right, so character creation. I'm gonna try and streamline this process a little bit. I've been thinking about it beforehand, because character creation in this game can literally stretch on for hours if you're really intent on figuring out exactly who you want to be. So I usually play as female, and I did in my last playthrough, but I'm actually going to be male. I don't know why I usually play as female. I just I think it began with the Mass Effect series. I just preferred Jennifer Hale and her fantastic voice acting, and so it just became a trend that I played women in RPGs. Alright, so we've got 6 races to choose from. We've got the humans. They get a bonus to resolve and might. Okay, cool. So They're quite hardy, and they're quite strong compared to a lot of the others. Not as strong as the Aumaua, I think is how you say it. Aumaua, who are basically they're kind of like the orc race almost, except less stupid. I guess they are simply large, and you can see the height difference there. And the height difference here. Dwarves, they are also very strong, less dexterity though. So they have slower reactions and less accuracy, but they also have a higher constitution, which is a combination of their health and stamina. Then you got the elves, dexterity and perception there. Perception is what allows you to spot traps and contributes to accuracy. So that is tempting, definitely. And you've got the Orlan, who are the smallest of all the races. They're as short as the dwarves, but not as thick-set as dwarves. They have a bonus to resolve. Reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. Useful for leadership and mental intimidation. So that's pretty cool. They get what's the word? Not a buff. A nerf to their might, which is understandable. But they are a very perceptive race as well. So that's interesting. And finally, we've got the godlike. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Godlike. I think I've seen quite a few LPs on YouTube, and pretty much all of them go for the godlike, which is a shame because I feel like I shouldn't go for godlike in that case. But they look incredible. You can certainly understand why they are chosen a lot of the time. Bonus to intellect and dexterity. I think what we're going to choose is either the elf or the Aumaua. So the mighty Aumaua are the largest of the Kith races, and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rauatai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. And then elves. Elves are the dominant race in Irglanfath, and the white that wends, and are extremely common in the Dyrwood and Idir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as a commonly isolationist nature. So, yeah. Standard elves in pretty much any RPG, any fantasy narrative. They don't stray too far from the beaten path with the elves here. I think I'm going to be an elf. Let's go. Now we've got sub-race to choose from. You've got wood elves and pale elves. Both of them have a distinct bonus or advantage, and they look very different, as you can see. So I'm just going to read through these. Wood elves, Selterfolk, I guess, is how you pronounce that. Selterfolk trace their beginnings far north of present-day Edir, and have migrated south throughout the forests of the continent, now covering it all the way south across the equator. They're also believed to have migrated across the sea to Glanfath. While physiologically identical to one another, wood elves from Edir are culturally different from those in Glanfath, and consider themselves wholly different groups. And their bonus is distant advantage. Against any enemy that is more than 4 meters away, wood elves gain bonuses to accuracy, deflection, and reflex. So that is a significant bonus, and I feel like depending on my my attributes or my class rather, I might well pick this this sub-race because that's going to be very useful. And then we've got Pale Elf. It is unclear exactly how long ago the Pale Elves, Glamfellan, came to the southern polar regions of the world, but they've lived there for at least 12,000 years based on their continuous contact with Aumaua traders. They appear to be among the most stationary ethnic groups in the known world, migrating within the polar region but seldom venturing far north. They are rare in all northern lands, and most people consider them exotic if they have seen one at all. Okay, so they are really isolationist. And their bonus is Elemental Endurance. All Pale Elves have increased burn and freeze damage reductions. Burn and freeze are one of the 8 different types of damage in Pillars of Eternity. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be honest. I mean, that's 2 out of the 8 damage types, so I think I might prefer to be the Wood Elves. probably more of a pragmatic choice there. Right, I've been having a think about this. You got, how many is this? 11 different classes to choose from. And all of them have different bonuses to endurance, health, accuracy, deflection, and different kind of sub-attributes like athletics and survival. Now, Barbarian is just a straight-up warrior class, as is the Fighter. The Fighter is more defensive-based. We've got the Wizard and some other kind of wizard classes like the Priest, the Druid. The Chanter is an interesting one, actually. They're almost like a bard class. They constantly sing in a group whenever they're in battle, and their phrases and chants you can customize to build up powerful kind of bonuses to your entire party. So that's really interesting. And I was debating whether or not to choose the Chanter or the Cypher, who can have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, which is really interesting. But I've been thinking about it, and I want to go with the Druid. Animists at heart, Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Era. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, Druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, Druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glanfarthans, Nasitaki, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. And look at this. Starting abilities. Spirit Shift. All Druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the Druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the Druid is shifted. So that is incredible. Once we pick Druid, we'll get to pick which animal we transform into. And spells. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, Druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As Druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use, which is going to be absolutely fantastic when that happens. So yeah, spells are incredibly powerful things. You know, all of the spell classes like Wizard, Monk, Priest, Druid, they would be incredibly powerful were it not for the fact that they're balanced by having these abilities be per rest abilities, which means they can only be used a certain number of times per rest. So a lot of abilities are per encounter, which means every single encounter with an enemy you can use them, and that's really, really good. You can use them quite frequently, but per rest is a lot less frequent, and you have to really pick and choose when you want to cast a spell. But yeah, Druid, plus 1 lore and plus 2 survival. They have very low endurance, low health, very low accuracy, but very high deflection, which is what you use to resist direct melee and ranged attacks against the character. So they're a bit flimsy, but they make up for it in their Spirit Shift, their spirit animal. So let's go on and pick which animal we want to shift into. So we've got the bear, which has a high damage reduction and can invoke a terrifying roar, apparently. We've got the boar, regenerates lost endurance, which is really useful. Endurance is kind of like a short-term health. You've got every character has health and then they have endurance. And if their endurance reaches 0, then they're knocked out, but they're not dead until their health reaches 0. But yeah, that'll be very useful, and inflicts damage over time with its melee attacks. Then we've got the cat, has a naturally fast attack and can burst into even faster attacks for short periods of time. So real damage dealing animal there. Then we've got the stag, which has higher defenses and can attack groups of enemies with its melee carnage attack. So it can attack multiple enemies at once, it seems. And we've got the wolf, which moves quickly and has an attack that can knock enemies prone, which is basically stunning them. That's what prone means. They can't take action. So that's all very interesting. the bear and the stag are more... well, and the boar, I guess. The bear, boar, and the stag are more defensive classes. They're going to last a long time. Whereas the cat and the wolf are better, more aggressive characters. So I'm not really sure what I want to pick. It might be the bear, just because I feel like turning into a bear would be an absolutely incredible thing to witness. But it might be the cat, because I love cats. I have an affinity with cats in real life, so... Let's go with the bear. High damage reduction, so we're not going to take much damage and can invoke a terrifying roar. Yeah, let's go with the bear. Yeah, the bear. Okay, so you can see that because we're a druid, we've got all of these abilities. We've got Charm Beast, can charm enemy animals. We've got Dancing Bolts, shock damage, decreased deflection and reflex, Sunbeam, blinding. We've got a ton of different abilities there, so it's going to be great to delve into that aspect of the game, because I haven't really touched upon that in my previous playthrough. Alright, so attributes. We've got 15 points to assign here. And what's nice is it also kind of recommends certain attributes based on your class. So it's telling me I need a lot of might and a lot of intellect, which I certainly won't deny. Resolve. Reflect the characters. Okay, yeah, it's that. It helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. So I believe concentration involves... If you've got a low concentration, then enemy attacks can kind of knock you out of concentration more easily, and it'll take you longer to attack. So we don't want that at all. So let's add a couple of abilities. You can also reduce the attributes on, or reduce the number on a certain attribute from their default, so that you can add them in other places. But I'm not sure about that. I might want to... I like having a lot of perception. Dexterity, action speed I really want. I've got quite low constitution, which means my health and stamina, so that's not a great idea. But then we can shift into the bear form, which has high damage reduction, so I'm not sure if it's that useful. Tell you what, let's leave it at that. I'm not sure if that's right, but let's leave it at that. Culture. Alright, cool. So this is more narrative-based. So culture, Edir. The Edir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the Empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Edir is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. And that gives you Resolve +1. And we've got Deadfire Archipelago. You can also see that it's actually changing our starting setup here. You've got different weapons and different armor that appear, depending on which culture you choose, which is really interesting. So Deadfire Archipelago, Dexterity +1, consisting of the nation of Nasatak, dozens of Aomawa settlements, and hundreds of lawless pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea. Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Aomawa, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. That sounds really interesting. You can definitely understand why it's home to the Aomawa, seeing as they have an affinity with water. Ixamital Plains. Located to the northeast of Glanfarth, the Ixamital Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orland residents. The Ixamital culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. So like the Edir, both Edir and Ixamital Plains get +1 to Resolve. Old Valia. Valia? Yeah, Valia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks, the Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with, and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. So that's pretty interesting. I like that backstory. I can imagine a character with that backstory. And he's got a +1 to intellect, so that's great. I might well be from Old Valia then. Rauatai, dominated by the Amaur nation of Rauatai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Amaur, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. I like that. And a +1 to Constitution, which we were kind of lacking in our attribution, in our attribution of points. So we might want to consider getting this Constitution +1. Yeah, Rauatai. Living Lands. The Living Lands is the mountainous region. Look at that shield. Good God, that's a large shield. That's going to reduce our accuracy by quite a bit. I'm not sure we want that. The Living Lands is the mountainous region of a large northern island, renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Animal life. Ooh, I like that. Its weather is unpredictable and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races in a variety of colonial and independent settlements. Might +1. And finally, the White That Wends, a large cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The White That Wends is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. Perception +1. Man, that sounds perfect for my character, for the Druid, who can shapeshift, which explains how he would be able to survive in this harsh climate. I don't know, there are several that I'm finding it hard to choose from. I love the Deadfire Archipelago for the dexterity. There was another one that granted dexterity, wasn't there? No, there wasn't. That's the only one. Then we've got Old Valia, Intellect +1, which I definitely like the sound of. Rauatai, Violent Storms, Living Lands, The White That Wends. I don't know. I feel like renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. I don't know. Let's be from The White That Wends. Perception +1. I like the sound of that. That's good. I like to be perceptive. Okay, background. You thought it was over? No, it's not over. Background, aristocrat. You've lived your life amongst the nobility. Your days have been marked by lavish meals and extravagant parties. Your conversations peppered with talk of pedigree and bloodlines. See, that really doesn't... I don't know if that strikes well with being from The White That Wends, where it's almost like this very kind of survivalist nomad existence, and then you're suddenly an aristocrat. You get a big bonus to lore. Represents a character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge and trivia, often occult and esoteric topics. Outside of conversations and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. Yes, indeed. I'm not sure about that. Explorer sounds much more likely. You find the siren call of the horizon irresistible. You cannot help but wonder what lies beyond the next hill or wave, and you've built your life around finding out. +1 to lore and +1 to survival. Survival allows characters to make better use of the food and portion items they find, the longer the duration of such items. Okay, cool. And all of these attributes contribute to certain scripted interactions in conversations. So that is great, but you can't really plan ahead for that. Unless you're like speedrunning the game, you know everything there is to know about the game. The White That Wends labourer, your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. +1 to athletics and +1 to mechanics. Mechanics is unpicking locks and disarming traps. Athletics, traveling, fighting, counters the effects of accrued fatigue, allowing characters to go farther and fight longer before they suffer penalties. That's really useful. I'm surprised that the Explorer doesn't have that, to be honest. Mystic, you've never been able to explain how the universe guides your path. Behind every task you undertake is a feeling of cosmic direction. And that's +2 lore, like Aristocrat. You've got Drifter, +1 on stealth and +1 on mechanics. You never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to rest briefly before moving on to the next. You are more comfortable on the road, traveling the world. Yes, I've never been one for stealth, to be quite frank. It's definitely useful at times, and it's useful to have a high stealth stat, but I don't want to base my entire character around it, especially not a druid. Mechanics is always welcome, though. Hunter, you live for the thrill of the chase, whether for glory or for sustenance. You have made your living taking the lives of wild creatures. And that's +1 to stealth again, and +1 to survival. And finally, merchant. You've traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. +1 lore and +1 mechanics. Laborer, explorer. I feel like either is one of those two. Either I go for lore and survival, or athletics and mechanics. Athletics is useful, mechanics is very useful for avoiding traps, but in my previous playthrough, I found that having lore, a high lore and survival statistic, meant you got some really interesting choices in scripted interactions. So I think I'm going to be an explorer. It fits better with the narrative that I'm forming in my head about this guy anyway. So let's do that. Finally, we get the actual customization of appearance. So only 3 heads to choose from there. Let's go with this guy. And we can customize the hair as well. So let's have a look. There wasn't one that jumped out at me as being the one that I wanted. Maybe I need to change the hair color. What do I want? Red. No, I don't think so. Black or dark brown, or blonde like me, or white. How about white? No, it's not really white. It's not quite white. It's just a light blonde. I'd like to have like an auburn color, but that's just too red. That's just ridiculous. A ridiculous shade of red. It'd be great if you could actually customize a color for yourself. Let's choose this color. And our hair shall be not that one. It's really important. You have to get the hair right, otherwise the entire playthrough is ruined. How about this one? Isn't that a female haircut? I don't know. 18, 19. Okay, you know what? Let's just choose this one. Let's choose that one. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's just quickly choose our colors. Let's have a bit of green in there. Our secondary color is like a dark brown or something. Actually, I don't like the green. Let's change it to a dark red. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. And let's see, is there a portrait that looks even vaguely like us right now? Oh my good god, those are the death godlikes as well, with horrible growths over their heads. Fire godlike. Nope, not really. Oh, that one. That'll do. Why not? The hair is completely wrong, but let's go with it anyway. Okay, now we pick our voice.
Mm-hmm. Watch and learn.
I'll teach you a lesson.
I'll take a peek.
Yeah, maybe.
What is it? Now I am the leader of the group.
No, I don't want to be sinister.
Yes? Ah! Shh. I'm here. I'm flattered. Let's go. Nice and slow. Follow me. Let's go.
Time to see and not be seen. I've got this.
Let's go.
I'll go on ahead.
Cocky.
Ready when you are.
I'll lead the way. Death to our enemies.
Easy now.
Yes?
I don't want to be a noble.
I shall lead us. Yeah! To whispers and shadows. Oh? I shall lead us. Yeah. Silence surrounds me.
Watch and learn.
Ah! Yeah. Follow me.
Yeah, let's be stoic. Why not? Right, finally enter name. Well, that's pretty easy. I'm going to be Odyssey. Accept, and I think we are finally ready. I'm sorry that that took long. I'm going to add an annotation so that you can skip that character creation process. So, just to sum up, we are male, we are a wood elf, and a druid. We can shapeshift into a bear. We have got those attributes, highly on perception, intellect, and might. We are an explorer with that appearance, and we've got a male stoic voice. Let's be off. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red moustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
He nods towards the looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to you, frowning as he looks you over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle around here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, course. Which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water. I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Okay, Sparfle nods and slides the warm bow over his shoulder. Sparfle is Odima's assistant. Alright, so let's see, is it dangerous out here?
About your business. And not if the weather holds up.
There is concern in his tone, but he does not elaborate. Alright, your character's attributes, skill, class, race, culture, and sex may all open up options for you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to the other responses, but give you a wider variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depends on their individual personality and attitude. Great. What kind of weather do they get out there?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beawick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path. Never seen it myself, never cared to.
No, nor do I. So what are those ruins?
You won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pawn, so I hear.
Okay, who did build the ruins?
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Okay, so what are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground? These rocks right here.
They don't got Adra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories. It's more like a shell than a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not these days. The soul butchers in Defiance Bay use it for different things. I've heard tell it can hold a man's soul, but I don't care to see it. Got enough to worry about without seeing something like that.
Okay, where would I find these berries?
They grow on a bush that's common around here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
Alright, let's go and see about those berries then.
Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot. Not like most of this lot.
Ouch.
You drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He scans over the travelers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy, armor-clad woman who has spent the journey's night sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
The woman looks up in her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind
Wow.
of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Okay.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Yes, let's. Welcome to Pillars of Eternity. If this is your first time to the world of Era, you may want to watch these windows to become familiar with the tools and interfaces available to you. Well, like I said, this isn't my first time, but I'll keep these open just so that you guys, if you haven't played the game, you know how things are done. Your party always consists of your character and up to 5 additional companions or adventurers. They are all listed down here. While the caravan is camped outside the Glanfathen ruins, Odima has assigned Kalisha to help you. Kalisha is a fighter, a class that excels at close quarters defense. Use her abilities to complement your own. To select a party member, click on their selection circle, their portrait, or press the number button that corresponds to their position in the party, starting with 1 at the left. To select multiple, you can click and drag. Okay, great. To move selected characters, click anywhere. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, we understand. Now then, I have reconfigured my controls so that I move the camera around with W, A, S, and D, just because I find it more comfortable that way. Let's have a look at the map. So we are at the encampment at the moment, and if I hit Alt, then I can see everything that I can interact with, which is pretty awesome. These tall glass green pillars appear as if they sprouted from the earth. The flickering fire sets shadows dancing within. Okay, we've got something over here which we can pick if we have a lockpick. I wonder if I can say anything else about Odima.
Man, before it gets too dark.
Nope. Most people you encounter in the world are neutral or friendly. You can interact with them by clicking on their selection circle. Many characters will simply greet you and go on their way, but others will have larger conversations to explore. The merchant Hayden has a conversation that opens a store with equipment for sale. Alright, that's a poke to go and see Hayden then. All these caravanners aren't going to say anything apart from hello, really, so... Can I go in here? Alright, Druid and clothing, and a lockpick, great. So, we can probably... okay, we need more lockpicks. I assume because...
Anyone need supplies? I've got sundries for sale.
Okay, that's Hayden. I assume we need multiple lockpicks for things like that, because we're not very good at lockpicking, and so we keep breaking locks. Right, you see a man wearing simple but mostly neat clothes. He's transfixed, however, by a ragged tear in the seam of his tunic. He doesn't look very trustworthy. I mean, look at that face. He looks like he's got something to hide.
Brought a whole wagon full of goods to sell, but not enough shirts for the road.
He scratches one cheek with his knuckles. It's covered with uneven stubble, as if he hasn't quite gotten used to shaving on the road.
Say, is there anything you need? I've got some basic traveling supplies for sale if you'd like to take a look.
Who are you?
Trader, originally from the Adir Empire, but I've been trying to establish new business out here. Life on the road has brought some unexpected challenges, to be sure. And I'm sure you've noticed how prickly the locals can be. But we're here to make the most of things, right?
Okay, might as well try. With an outlook like that, I'm sure you'll do well. That's a passionate response. If you think these caravanners are prickly, watch out for those axe wielders Odima mentioned, which is apparently a clever response. And how incredibly naive. I'm surprised you lasted this long. Which is cruel. That's just cruel. I don't think I want to be cruel. Not to people who don't deserve it, anyway. Let's just say we might as well try. My thoughts exactly, he says.
Something else you need? Looks like we're settled for the night.
Why'd you move all the way out of here?
Because it seemed friendlier than Raid Ceres? My brothers took over the family mercantile business a few years ago, and there wasn't enough for me to do back home. I moved out to try and expand.
He shrugs. Druid is a former Adir colony, so it seemed like a good place to start. And as much as I admire the Raid Saren's work ethic, they've always struck me as a little fanatical. That's high-minded of you. It seems like you got the short end of the stick. That's high-minded of you. A blush rises from under his collar. Not at all, just doing my part. You now have 1 rank in a disposition reputation. These reputations represent how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favored by some people, and benign reputations often bring out the worst in certain people. No disposition is inherently good or bad in Pillars of Eternity, but if your main character is a priest or paladin, you must be careful not to misalign their dispositions with what is favored by their deity and order, respectively. For the main character only, their disposition will modify the effects of Holy Radiance for priests, and Faith and Conviction for paladins. Okay, but we are neither a priest nor a paladin. Apparently, this little conversation between the two of us has had repercussions on our reputation on a global scale. So we have to be careful of that. Tell me about the Adir Empire.
It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still big. The mainland is a continent northwest of here, but the colonies used to include Raed Saris and the Deerwood. About 150 years ago, Deerwood won its independence from the Empire. A fact our companions are quick to remind me of.
He gives you a lopsided grin and nods at the other scattered caravanners. Alright, let's see what you've got for sale. Yes, we know about stores. It's okay. Now then, this is my guy, Odyssey. That's Kalisha. Oopsie daisy, I don't want to trade my lockpick. What's he got for sale? We don't have much money. We can buy like one weapon if we want to, but I don't think we want to. There, you can see there are lots and lots of different types of weapons here, and they all have different damage types. You've got Pierce, Crush, and Slash. I think those are the 3 types. But what I really want is lockpick. There we go. Right, I want a lockpick. That is too much money, but if I sell... No. Oh no, yeah, if I sell that... Apparently, this light armor, which gives you nothing, is worth 75 coppers. So... that's pretty awesome. Let's do that. Because lockpicks are incredibly useful, so... yeah. Trade. Nope. Okay, happy doing business with you, Hayden. Now let's go into our inventory. Look at our guy! Look at him! Wow, bare-chested and everything. Oh, we can actually change his portrait at any moment. And his voice. That's pretty awesome. Okay, cool. Didn't know that. Alright, we've got hide armor here, so that gives us damage reduction of 5. High reduction against Pierce and Freeze, but low against Corrode. And our recovery speed minus 25%. Got a 2-handed pike. Interesting. Which is a slow weapon, but it deals quite a bit of pierce damage, and it has a good reach, as you would expect from a pike. So that's cool, but I would rather like a bow. But I guess I have to do without for now. Kalisha has scale armor, medium armor, that's really good. It's not so good against piercing attacks, but it's good against freeze and slashing attacks. It's a high recovery speed nerf, though, so we'll have to be careful about that. She can't swing her weapons quite as often. And she has got a battle axe and a torch, which actually does burn damage, so that's pretty awesome. And apparently it does crush damage. I'm not sure how you can crush someone with a torch, but there we go. And we have nothing in our stash quite yet. Alright, so let's move on. I'm actually going to move this out of the way for now. And this too. It breaks immersion, damn it. Breaks immersion. The fallen tree doesn't budge. Sap oozes from the jagged wound in its trunk.
Forward to trying to lift that thing tomorrow.
Yes, that is the reason that we have stopped here to make camp. I love that you can actually see the tracks of the caravans. That's a really nice touch. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's see where we're going. Exploration is key in Pillars of Eternity. As you make your way through the Eastern Reach, open the area map to see what parts of the map you've already been to and what's left to explore. Indeed, you can also click on the world map here. We are currently, I think, around here. And this is how big the world of Pillars of Eternity is. And it may not look quite that big, but It is. It is pretty big. It's bigger than you think because there are tons of different settlements here, and each of them take like a day or so to go from one to the next. So yeah, it's a big place. Big place.
I'll have your water soon enough. Stream's not going anywhere.
All right, Mr. Base Boost. Let's have a look around here. So one thing that I've forgotten to mention is that this game, Pillars of Eternity, is a game made by Obsidian. I'm just going to pause the game for a sec. It was made by Obsidian, and it was actually a Kickstarter. It was an extremely successful Kickstarter campaign with about 77,000 backers raising over $4 million. And that just gives you an idea of how incredibly excited everyone was about this game. Because, like I said, old games like Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale are absolute classics, and you don't really get CRPGs like that anymore. But then along comes this game, and it is just staggering. The detail in the world and the graphics and everything about it is just amazing. Absolutely stunning. It's a deer. If only we had like a bow or something, we'd be able to kill that deer and... ooh. Travelers maybe, or looters, or bandits. Mad sign any way you figure it. The corpse is cold to the touch and a ripe smell wafts from it in putrid waves. A dark crusted bloodstain besmirches its simple linen clothing. That's not going to stop me from looting it. Get another lockpick from that, which is nice. And some clothing. Damage reduction 6, recovery speed 30. 6 and 30, 5 and 25. Yeah, but let's just keep it in our inventory for now. Alright, let's go up here towards this suspiciously dead deer. Dead and headless deer, it seems. Oh no, not headless, it's just had a few chunks taken out of it by a young wolf. I had no idea that that was there, ha ha ha. Right, Pillars of Eternity combat uses a pausable real-time system. Because you'll often manage more than one character at a time, it's a good idea to pause the game, issue orders, and resume real-time to see the orders play out. The options menu also contains many choices for automatic pausing when certain conditions are met, e.g. at the start of combat. Cool, yes, in the options we can... there are so many different options for auto-pausing. You can auto-pause when a character's damaged, or when they have low endurance, or when an enemy's spotted. So that's really great. I like that they've put so much detail into it. Okay, so I've got my pike here. I've got all of these spells, which I really want to try out. We've got Kalisha here with her battle axe. Let's tell her to knock down this wolf if she can. Meanwhile, you can see there's a little number 2 there, and that means that I'm only able to use 2 of these first level druid spells per rest, which means I don't actually want to be using these willy-nilly. I want to be choosing when we use them. So I won't use them quite yet. But this, Spirit Shift Bear, you can see it says modal 1 per encounter, which means I can use it every single encounter. So hell yeah, let's do that. Oh my god, it's a big bear that actually walks like that, like a human. Many spells and abilities in Pillars of Eternity have a limited number of uses. Yeah, we just went through this. Okay. Wait, yep, I know. Stop pausing it, goddammit. You scored a crit. Wow, that was lucky. A crit is a better result than a hit, and they're more likely to occur when the attack's accuracy is higher than the target's defense. Yeah, you've got misses, grazes, hits, and crits, and they do pretty much exactly as you sound. Come on, attack. Whoa, he has a big hit on him. Big swing of his paws there. Kalisha must have been frightened to death when that happened. She had no idea that he was going to turn into a bear. That's amazing. Wolf-eyed. Okay, cool. Yeah, why not? We can't loot this corpse. I don't know what we'd find anyway. Okay, cool. That is the springroot berry. Okay, as you receive quests, your journal will update with relevant information. If you ever get stuck, open it up to review your notes. Uh-huh. Because this is a very long game and it's very laid back, I'm actually going to probably have each episode last maybe an hour or so, just because that's the way that I feel like doing it. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Okay, Kalisha says, Odemus says you've had some interesting travels. Okay. In the watery parts of the world, I was a mariner. I lived out on a frontier for a time. Interesting might not be the word. I sailed with cold-blooded conquerors, and that isn't your business. Shut down. Let's say I lived out on a frontier for a time. Yeah, how is it you happened to come here? It was a harsh place to live. I was surrounded by death out there. It was too quiet a life. I was looking for something more. Well, I am an explorer, so maybe that one. Raiders destroyed my home, took everything from me, and that isn't your business. Shut down. Let's say it was too quiet a life. I was looking for something more. Hazard of the lifestyle, I suppose. You had to expect it was a possibility, no matter how much you didn't want it to be that way. Kalisha breathes in her surroundings. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Raedric's offer makes a girl think, I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of the lot? It's a hard offer to pass up. No, I'm just passing through, and I haven't given it much thought. In case you missed it, Lord Raedric's offer is that his town seems to be accepting migrants to start a new life. There have suddenly become a lot of vacancies for some reason, and so there are a lot of people like us who are just wanderers who have heard about the news and are looking to settle down. I hadn't given it much thought. No harm in that. Might as well see the place first. Exactly. So you must have some other plan in mind for coming this way. I hope to meet someone and fall in love. Wow, okay, cool. I don't know if that's actually a thing in this game. If it's like, you know, if you have romantic interests like you do in Mass Effect. Probably the same things I did before. Just looking for some adventure, really. Getting into trouble, I expect. I'm going to find some new friends. Aww. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I'm going to find some new friends. I like that. Like, maybe he's been alone for so long as a bear. No one wants to, like, everyone's afraid of him, so no one wants to be his friend. So maybe that. I've got to find some new friends. That may not be a bad idea. Surviving out here, sometimes it's less about what you know and the more about who. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Ojima will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. Now hold on a second. Why are you here? Oh, Kalisha sighs unevenly. Her eyes search the ground at her feet. My sister moved out here some time back. She sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages, been doing guide work in Ixamital. But I'd do anything for her. She's a much better woman than me, so I'm here and we'll see. Ojima I've worked with before. He doesn't usually drive a route this way, but he's doing it for me. Okay, cool. By the way, I know that you know that I've played this before, and you might be thinking that I'm like faking reactions to things that I've seen before, but a lot of the time I honestly can't remember. Like there is so much stuff in this game that I really can't remember a lot of it. So no, this really is genuine. All of my reactions to everything are genuine. I will tell you if I remember something that's happened before. Anyway, tell me about yourself. I've got simple needs. I like open skies and far horizons. I find work that lets me live that way. My family wanders too. We started in Deerwood, but my parents ended up in the Living Lands. I've got a brother in Rautai and another in Edir. My sister in Gilded Vale. She's the only real homebody. Okay, what can you tell me about Deerwood? I'm not much for history, but from what I know, it used to be part of the Edir Empire. Broke off after a war some years back. The locals here are feisty, and that's how they like it. I've been out of touch, but I've been hearing weird kinds of things about it lately. People having trouble giving birth, I guess. A lot of them. Been going on for years now, but somehow it's getting worse. With an uneasy tremor in her voice, she adds, I'll have to ask my sister more about it. Indeed. Okay, let's go back to camp then. You know, I wouldn't hold my breath that Sparful's getting you water anytime soon. He does what he feels like when he feels like it. We should check up on him first, slap him around a little. Stream's just down that way. Come on, let's get you your water. Okay, find Sparful. Let's go. Is there anywhere... Can we go any further up here? See if there's anything that's hiding in there. Ooh, this path winds through a narrow canyon back the way you came. Grooves in the road and mark the... I was reading that. Mark the passage of hundreds of caravans. Yes, okay. So we can't go that way. Yes, this you can't scroll any further than this. These are the boundaries of this area, but all of the areas are different sizes. So there is that. I've already explored down here. Let's go across the bridge then.
What a surprise. Sparful went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
Okay. Alright, let's get rid of that. You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skin into the cool water, while Kalisha waits nearby, keeping watch. As you rise, you notice her look up sharply towards the tree line. You've gained an item, full water skin, added to the stash. Continue. Out of the trees emerges Sparful, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there is a strangeness to his gait, his stride wobbly as he moves towards you with laboured breath.
Sparful, are you all right?
Sparful's toe catches on a rock and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag. These hand-drawn drawings, like pencil drawings, I meant to say, are absolutely incredible. I love these kind of scripted interactions, I think they call them. They're really amazing. Okay, so that's him dead on the floor there.
Ambush.
And flank attack. Something tells me these ambushers don't know who they've picked a fight with. Let's have a look. So we've got a hunter here. You can see if I hover over them, then it shows a little bit about them, or what we know about them in the top left. But as it happens, we know absolutely nothing about these guys. So let's see. Let's send Kalisha to knock this one down, because he looks a bit heavier set with his shield there. Meanwhile, I'm going to go bear on this guy's ass. Let's go. Look at that. That looks incredible. When a party member takes damage, they'll start to lose endurance and health. Their portrait will begin to fill with a red overlay, and the health bar to the left of their portrait will slowly start to decrease. When the portrait fills entirely red, the character will be knocked out. Potions and spells can be used to restore endurance to keep characters in the fight, but health can only be restored by resting. Yes, you can see the green health bar right here. That is the health. And if you look very closely, you'll see just at the top here, it's starting to show a red overlay, and that is the character's endurance. You can also see that is the number of endurance. So it's 35 out of 36 now. So when the endurance reaches 0, he will keel over, but there are lots of different ways to get someone back on their feet after they've been knocked out like that. When their health runs out, that's when they're dead. So that's how that works. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's an interesting system for sure. Druid bear terrifying roar, frightening enemies in area of effect. So what does frightened actually do? Resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2, and accuracy is reduced by 10. Okay, so it basically makes them useless in a way. Like all their attacks are going to miss. They're too frightened to do anything. So that's cool. That's a good thing. And you can see the AoE right there. Oh, wow. You can also do the Druid spells even when you're in Druid form. That is awesome. I didn't know that. Okay, cool. That was Kalisha knocking the guy over. Let's just continue attacking normally. What? Sometimes a weapon or spell simply isn't well suited to penetrating an enemy's damage reduction. When the attack hits, the damage reduction will wipe out all but a small percentage of the incoming damage. You'll hear characters complain about it when it happens. Take heed, note the damage type that's being blocked, and switch to a weapon or spell that does a different damage type. Yeah, indeed. That's where all of the different damage types come in, like slash, pierce, crush, burn, freeze, corrode, and there was something else, but I can't remember what it is. Shock, that was it. There's also raw damage, which is like poison attacks that deal damage over time. But yeah, this bear is immensely powerful. His swing attack is just insane. Ouch. Okay, Kalicia's taking a little bit of damage. You can see the endurance starting to decrease there. But after every encounter... Hold on, you'll see in a second. After every encounter, the endurance goes back up to full. Okay, copper old. That's good. Let's loot these guys quickly. Oh, a bow. Hunting bow. Brilliant. That's what I wanted. So let's equip that quickly. Let's put that in my first slot and put the pike in my second slot. That looks good. So you can switch to new weapon sets by selecting the weapon icon from an individual character's action bar, like so. Okay, right, we need to get back quick. Actually, having said that, let's just take a quick look around and see if we're missing anything important. Because I am curious. I like to explore in games like this. Let's have a look. What was that? What is that right there? Beer! Which gives you +1 damage reduction for 300 seconds, which is hilarious. The footprints around the campfire are indistinct and may have been here for days or longer. And something down here as well. Deer cap, which I believe is like a drug or something. Where'd it go? Deer cap. Nope, okay. Must have been thinking about something else. Okay, let's go back. Another thing about Pillars of Eternity, you can see here, you can pause the game at any time, and you can also change it to half speed and double speed. So I've got that set to hotkeys on my mouse, so I can do that quite easily if I just want to get somewhere quickly. Ooh, there we go. So now let's have a look. I am currently using the bow here, so let's continue using the bow. Let's attack this guy from range, and then hopefully Kalisha will get there in time to intercept the hunter. Okay, took a bit of damage there, which is not ideal. And now he's knocked down, and let's just keep attacking him. Should be a fairly easy fight. There we go. Another hunting bow, that's good. More armor and some more gold. Let's see if the hunting bow is any better. Come on. Show me, compare. No, it's exactly... Oh, no, it isn't. 12 to 18 versus 11 to 17. I wonder what that is. Okay, let's choose this one then. Get a little bit more damage out of it. Okay, our caravanners have been killed here. That's not nice. All around you lie the massacred remains of the other travellers, peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed and filthy. Kalisha puts the back of her left hand to her mouth as if to ward away some poisonous vapour. A handful of dark figures stands above the fallen, treading on limbs and backs and heads, jerking their axes from bodies as if from half-split logs. One of them, towering and severe, with a thick beard tasseled with knots, holds a wet blade at the neck of the man you recognise as Heoden, the last of your caravans left standing. Not Heoden. Lay down your arms, trespasser. Do not forfeit this man's life for a fight you will lose. He's American, apparently. Alright, so we've got a lore scripted interaction here. The ruin has not been sullied by our hands, men of our Glanfath. That's diplomatic. You can actually choose in the options menu to turn off these little subscript kind of things. What's the word? Is it subscript? I don't know. But yeah, you can if you think it breaks immersion, then you can change it. But I personally like seeing exactly what I'm doing in scripted interactions. So we could be honest. We have not trespassed. We merely wish to pass through. I don't think that's going to work. I don't know what they did, but I didn't have anything to do with it. Okay. Murderers, you will pay for each life. You will try to kill us all either way. Why make it easy? Why have you done this? This This ruin has not been sullied by our hands. Let's try that one. Your words carry no weight when I've seen the truth with my own eyes. Blood must be paid for this intrusion. So I say again, lay down your arms. Don't trust them. They mean to kill us all. Oh wow, we've got a lot of different options here. We are innocent in this. Will you not listen to reason? Well, I doubt it. Only a fool attacks a weak enemy while a stronger one yet lives. Your courage is a mask. None of you has yet slain a true warrior. Both of these are kind of inflammatory, I think. You can kill him, but you might as well be killing yourself. That's a bit more like it. That's intellect 13, intellect 15. Judging by the string of animal teeth around your neck, I'm guessing you are worshippers of Galawain. If Galawain told you to stop protecting the ruins, would you? You try reasoning with them. Put down your weapons. Very well, let him go. I wonder if anyone ever will do that. Stay armed. If I put down my weapons, we're all dead. I can imagine its response will be, you're all dead anyway. Let's kill him, but you might as well be killing yourself. That's a threat as well, though. Let's try this one. The man frowns and motions as if to swing his axe. Hayden winces, but the blow never comes. Instead, the man cocks his head, intrigued. He's actually listening to me? Of course, but he would say not, but he would not. It is by the command of all the gods that we accept this charge. How do you know? Because it's consistent with their beliefs, or because it's what you were told? The man glares. It has always been known to my people. Oh, I see. And what of Galawain's edict that weakness and age must be purged by youth and strength? You think Galawain would want some mouldy, crumbling stones to survive long after their builders have turned to dust? The man's nostrils flare as he fumes. He would not. He told us otherwise. I'm sure he did, just not you personally. But why should that stop you from killing innocents? Wow. Distracted, the man's grip falters on his axe handle and he nearly fumbles it, affording Hayden the moment he needs to dodge out of his swing, which comes too late. Howling with rage, the man charges you instead. Oh dear. Okay, end dialogue. Alright, we now have access to Hayden. Let's see, he has daggers. Daggers, properties accurate, +5 accuracy. So he hits more often than he misses. And he's got blinding strike. A dirty attack that makes the opponent unable to see, inflicts extra damage and blinds the target. What does blind mean? Accuracy reduced by 25 for all sources. That's a huge amount. Perception reduced by 4, movement reduced by 2, reflex and deflection reduced by 20. That's a huge thing. I'm definitely going to be using that. Okay. I've got 2 melee characters, so I'm going to have my guy stay at range and just... should I use an ability here? Maybe. Causing slash damage, hobbling, causing pierce damage, inflicting freeze damage. I doubt that would work against like clothing like that, which is evidently very winter clothing. Shock damage, that's a bit more like it. That's more like it. Let's do this. Then we'll have Kalisha knock over the bandit leader, and we'll have a blinding strike on you. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, because this guy's going to have to pass across this guy, but oh well. Ooh, the leader's going straight for my druid here. Okay, my guy actually missed, but oh well. And Kalisha failed to knock down, so let's try it again. We've got 2 per encounter on this ability, so let's try it. That was a 1 per encounter. Oh, he's dead already. That knockdown worked. There we go. Your enemy lies supine on the ground, unable to rise. His companion's now silent among the other dead. His breath comes in wheezing, fitful gasps. He looks not at you, but at the sky above us. Forgive us. Barely audible beneath his choked sighs, a whisper of wind stirs the air. Oh, you can see the graphics change as well, that's awesome. At this, the man's eyes roll back as he closes them. Good, good. The gods are just. A queer smile crosses his face. I am ready. That doesn't sound good. The wind begins to swell, whipping around the cab, electric and volatile, upending pots and rattling tents like an angry spirit. You can feel it begin to seep beneath your skin, and where it pierces you, it feels as though it is rending you apart from within. Seated against a wagon wheel amidst the howling maelstrom, slashed across chest and bowel, Odima's body stirs, and with a great effort he raises his sagging head, his eyes barely open. He looks directly at you.
Get inside! Run!
Don't have to tell me twice. Whoa. Beerwick. You know, it's worth noting that because I don't have a very powerful PC, this is all on the lowest quality, the lowest graphics quality, and it still looks damn good. Straining against a gale that threatens to pull you off of your feet with every step, you set your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock and set about pulling yourself up the precipice. With a last burst of energy before your arms give out, you swing yourself up onto the ledge. Hayden trails behind, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. Well, when was he injured? As he nears the face of the rocks, one of the fallen attackers who had been feigning death lunges for Hayden and topples him onto the rocky ground. Restrained, Hayden lashes out against his fatigued assailant, but struggles to break his hold. They are close to you. From your position, you would have a good chance of hitting your mark. Look at that. Look at that. That's an amazing drawing. Oh, I'd love to meet the artist. I can fire at the attacker. Dexterity 15 requirement not met. I wonder what that is. I didn't get that option in my last playthrough either. Allow Hayden to break free on his own. Fire at the attacker. Your aim is true, and the hit jars Hayden loose. Lurching to his feet, Hayden clambers up the base of the rocks. As he nears the top, however, the wind flares, pulling him sideways and tearing one of his hands free. But diving out onto the hard rock, you manage to catch hold of it. Securing his other hands, you pull with waning strength, and it feels as though your arms will be jerked from their sockets. They hold just long enough for Hayden to set his feet and join you on the trembling ledge. There is a... wow. Sudden music. There is a deep resonance to the swelling wind now. You feel it in the rocks beneath your feet and inside the cavity of your own chest, as though it would shake the marrow from your bones. Each new gust menaces the old stones before you, loosening connections, unsettling balances. As you dart beneath the old archway, the entire portal begins to fall beneath its own weight.
Was that?
A Beerwick. Had to be.
No shit.
You're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
I couldn't agree more. Alright, quest updated, a moment's respite. This is something I haven't actually shown you. You've got the quests, this is all the main quest. Then you've got side quests and tasks, which are like very kind of small, menial tasks. Quests, rather. Let's have a look. A moment's respite is complete. Journey to Gilded Vale, yep. The ruins of Silanlis, which is where I am now. I've narrowly escaped the strange and deadly wind that tore through the valley. But now I'm trapped in the ancient ruins that the caravan master told us to stay clear of. I'll have to find my way through the ruins to get to safety. And then you've got the journal, which actually updates your biography depending on what happens. It updates it in real time, which is really, really awesome. Absolutely incredible. We'll have another look at that in the next episode. And we've got the Cyclopedia, which we don't have much in the bestiary at the moment, because we only saw the wolf. But yeah, there's so much information here for different deities, combat mechanics, equipment, lore, tips, locations. Yeah, so much, so much. It's really incredible. And you've even got a notes section where you can create notes for yourself if you want to keep it all inside the game. So yeah, this place is amazing. It's got so much info. Anyway, it looks like we're going to be delving deeper into Silanlis, this enormous area that we have here. But that is going to have to wait until the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to comment on the series, if you've got any suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, then please feel free to comment below and give us a like and subscribe if you want, because I'm hopefully going to be doing many, many more of these episodes. So again, thank you very much for watching. I've been Odyssey, and I will see you next time. Bye.